Hi, my name is Greg Pajak. I took the Pho course that Diane put on Zoom on Friday. I learned a lot from that course. I was very grateful that she gave her time and effort to make that for, I think she said over 600 people. So I just wanted to make this little video just to see what I could do with some of the leftover ingredients. So one of the things she said to use was some beef short ribs in the stock. And I went to Central Market, bought these overpriced short ribs, and I had a lot of meat left over. Typically, when you boil meat for a long time, it loses a lot of that flavor, but I tried the meat from these short ribs, and they had a lot of that flavor infused in them from the pho broth that we made. So I want to do something with this now. So what I did was, well, I did a little bit something different than what Diane suggested. I actually simmered mine for around 18 hours overnight, and the actual pho came out amazing. I mean, to die for. Better than any restaurant that I've been to have that there, but just happy to make it at home. A lot of effort, but man, it was sure worth it. So I'm gonna be making, with that meat that was left over from the short ribs, I'm making a short rib dumpling. So basically, it's like short ribs, a corn puree in a dumpling, and then like a soy sticky sauce over top of that. So that's what I'm gonna be making. So I'm gonna be making the actual dumpling wrappers from scratch as well. So we'll see how that goes. So I've never actually made dumplings from scratch before, so this is the experiment both for me and whoever's watching this, I guess. So I just got a recipe off of the internet, trusty internet, and we're gonna just see how it works. This recipe called for like 2 cups of flour, so I didn't have enough all-purpose flour, so I'm actually using some 00 pasta flour. We'll see how that works. So they said to put that in there like that. We have a tablespoon of cornstarch. This is from a Korean recipe. I don't know if it's any different for Chinese or not, but this is from this, and we'll give it a try. So like a tablespoon of cornstarch, and then I think a teaspoon of salt or so just some salt in there. And then we're going to mix all those dry ingredients up. And after the dry ingredients are added, now we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup or so of water. I'm gonna start with around half, and then we'll just see how the dough goes from there. The measurements that I use are a little bit different than what was on the recipe online. So we're just gonna incorporate that, see if we can get a nice dough ball. What we got there. So it's starting to come together a little bit. And I think we're gonna add the rest of that water too now. Still a little bit dry. Start to come together. A bit of a ball there, and it's still fairly soft. So I think that's good. Now we're just gonna knead that in the bowl here for like 5-6 minutes, and then just adjust the water and flour. If it gets too sticky, I'm going to add a little bit more flour. Too dry, I'll just add some more water till we get a nice consistency. Kind of like bread That's what I saw online. It was a little bit, actually not a little bit too wet. So add a little bit of flour. Yeah, we'll do that for 6 minutes, and then we'll let this rest for like half an hour. Okay, so that's around 6 minutes. Feels nice and spongy. It's feeling good, not sticky. Nice and soft. So I think we're gonna leave that now and let that just rest for a bit. Put a little bit of flour in here. That in there. Take a damp paper towel and just put it over top of there. We're just gonna let that sit for a bit. Yeah, so we'll let that sit. A while back when I was doing some pastas was, they always said to let it sit like 30 minutes or so on the counter wrapped up in cling wrap. But what I found is that I got a vacuum sealer. If you take your dough, throw it in the vacuum sealer in a bag, let it go through its cycle to suck all the air out and then get it through its cycle there, you actually can use it right away without having to let it sit and hydrate, because the vacuum will actually hydrate your flour for you without having to wait. I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm just gonna follow the recipe as they say, but just a little tip in case you're in a rush or you wanna make pasta dough or something, you can always use a vacuum sealer if you have one to hydrate your dough. All right, well, while we wait for the dough to get a little bit hydrated, we're gonna have a glass of wine and make the corn puree. I already did these. All it is was just some onions that we softened up salt and pepper. That's it, really. It's like, I don't know, it's like half an onion, maybe, white onion. So that goes in here. And it called for like regular corn, just like frozen corn. I only had canned corn, so we got a good old canned corn going in here as well. So we'll put I put like a whole can. I'm gonna have more puree than I need, but I hate wasting a half a can of anything really. We'll put that on, and then we have like 3/4, what is it, like 3/4 of a cup of cream. It may not be enough. I think it wanted 1 cup. I had 3/4, so if not, I'm just gonna add some milk or something like that to make sure it's the right consistency. What I like to do sometimes when I make something that I'm gonna have to put into like a dumpling or something like that, or raviolis, or any kind of filled whatever, makes it much easier for me if I kind of pipe it in instead. If you don't have a piping bag, just a Ziploc bag will do. You just put it in there. You just cut the bottom off, cut the tip off the bottom, and you have your own little piping bag on the cheap. There we go. All right, so our dough is rested for a while. Now we're going to take it out of here and see if we can actually make some dumpling wrappers. Now bear with me because this is my first time doing this as well, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've knocked out almost all of them. One left to go. Gotta say, you really learn the technique after a while. It's not as intuitive right off the bat, but just making sure that your surface is always floured or cornstarched, I guess, is really critical. You don't want this stuff to stick to the countertop because it makes it harder to roll out and get a decent looking circle. I mean, none of them that I did were really, you know, pure circle, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, we're doing it by hand, right? We're not a machine or anything, so yeah, they turned out pretty good. So I'm just gonna clean up this stuff right now, and then we're gonna go to the next stage, which is trying to fill these things. All right. Well, let's try to fill one of these things. So we got our puree, we have our short ribs. Get this out of the way. Not that anymore. So we got this, and this. Let's try to fill one of these wrappers. We didn't wreck them too bad. Oh, kind of. Just 1 second here. They're a little sticking to the other ones, so let me just get these out of the way so they don't get ruined. Okay, perfect. Put this up a little bit. So, it's my first time doing these little suckers, so let's oh, yes. Okay, I did this. One messed up. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. So we have to do our filling first before we start doing that. Let me just get a little bit of this on here now. Tablespoon or so. Spoon of beef. Okay, now we can put these down a little bit here with a bit of water. This over this side. This is going to take a little bit of work. I don't really know how to do this yet. Okay, the first ones are going to be a disaster. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, these are not good at all. Hopefully they taste good. Okay, we're just gonna do it this way. This looks horrible, but okay. We're trying that one. We're just gonna keep going and see if we can get a little bit better as we go. Bear with me. All right, so I kind of cheated for the rest of these. I found this little dumpling maker in my cupboard, so I had to use that for the rest of them. Mad respect to those people who know how to make these dumplings properly, because man, that takes some skill. I think my dough was too soft. It wasn't working when I was trying to manipulate it with my hand. So this is the last one I'm going to do here, and then we can clean up and start cooking these still suckers. So what I was doing was I was putting it in this little maker, putting a little bit of this puree in there, a little bit of this short rib meat, and then around this edge just putting some water on it. All right, I'm just taking this and closing it up, and then just cutting out the excess off. And cheating way to make dumplings. They turn out pretty good that way. So yeah, these are the ones I did with the little maker thing. These first two are my sorry attempt at doing them by hand. So I'm glad I had that little dumpling maker, but it'll take some practice. It'll take some practice to get these things done properly. All right, I'm gonna clean up and we're gonna get cooking and see what these things taste like. Yeah, there we go. So, short rib wontons with some corn puree, a nice little sauce we made for that. Took a while, but wow, you sure taste the flavors from the pho that comes in there through the meat. You'd think that the flavors from the meat would be dissipated from cooking for 18 hours, but wow, yeah, really got infused almost. And the sweetness from the corn, these are really, really good. If I wasn't so terrible at doing the wrappers, these would be amazing, but pretty good. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate you checking me out.